Hello gamers, hello noobs. Welcome to game number 33, and today I'm with a player whose charisma made her become the second ever girl captain. Our moderator that's loved by Rose and everyone else. When she's mad, she sounds scary, and that's why on VC she's getting huge win rate. Strong social reader, and incredible spy chatter, which had the best Morgana performance this tourney. Let's welcome Captain of Team 5, Ingenue.
Aw, thanks so much, Pat. That was really nice.
Just telling the truth.
I don't know. I think my special crouton did a lot to carry, but I'll take
Well,
it.
a win is a win, and this game is a regular one. We have very good lobby. Probably the least experienced player here is Raf,
I agree.
or maybe Illumi. They should be on the same level.
Well, I think Wrath is a stronger social reader, but Illumi should understand mission logic better just because he has more
Hmm.
games.
Hmm. Well, he's 1.5, so this would definitely play to his advantage, because 1.5, you have to understand him once.
For sure.
And from my experience, while playing with Zach, he always, at least he was always trying to chat or say something in him once, but then he was always res. I've never seen him be spy, so I couldn't see him if this read is, if he does that as all roles.
Yeah, I think Zach tends to be more quiet as spy. This would
Hmm.
this would be a very interesting chat to have as a spy.
Hmm. Okay, so we are already at 1.5 pretty much. And if we assume that Illumi is VT, so the pick here, what's interesting, Killer is on-picked, and then he's off-picking 1.4 with 1.1, so he's off-picking two on-pickers.
It is the easy pick to make for sure.
It's so strange, because right now I would instantly on-pick Anders here. Like, boom.
On pick Anders?
Yeah, on-pick Anders. What do you
For
think?
what? I think that would be a very out of the box pick.
Oh, yeah, so what would you pick here?
Well, I don't think 1.4 is ever bad. It doesn't add information to the table, but like as spy or res, like no one can really find fault with it.
It does kill. I think it kills yeah, it kills left hand side and rough.
Hmm.
It definitely adds information, but not much. Just
Yeah,
1.4.
not
And
much.
1.5, who would you pick on 1.5? Because it's Crouton, I think it's only in Crouton and Anders.
Oh, I would pick Zach just
Hmm.
because I thought he outed Res on chat.
Okay. That makes sense. But, oh,
I mean, this is a bad pick.
um, Illumi, the
I really
stronger
don't like
mission
picking
reader.
M2 hammer as M1 hammer.
Yeah, definitely, because it kind of says that, it says a lot. It says, like, I can't pick clean, and you read. Oh.
Oh, well, it was a bad pick.
Oh dear. Um, mm, I don't know what to say. This is the third, by the way. This tournament, this is the third mission one fail. The first mission one fail was when Pingu and off-picked Ave and Inoki, and the second was when a Maniac on-picked Bumfuzzle. And this is the third one. And we have M2 Hammer, that's on a failed M1. So we're gonna hammer on Zach. Who, like you said, I also agree, he seems res.
I don't know why Killer said, "What do you know?" I don't think from Killer's point of view there was a special reason why Illumi should have been spy.
Hmm. 1.5. Such a strange big out. Oh, and look at 2.2.
Interesting.
Anjani are saying the
Oh,
same.
diggity dear.
But you know what's interesting here is that he's not picking Zac, he's picking Crouton and Killer. He did 1.1, I guess, and he sees 1.3. Is that why he's not picking Zac and picking Killer?
I'm not sure. Wrath might just be spy, not
Yes. This actually, Anjani, it actually, I think, makes sense. So he sees 1.1 and 1.3. And he likes Killer, and Killer Illumi, if you like Killer Illumi's a spy, and Zac unpicked a spy, so you're not picking him. It's like, this would be the logic, I think, but I don't buy it.
Yeah, I think I think it's very rare the scenarios where in an M1 fail you should ever pick into M1 and M2.
But you know what's interesting? Is that this is, like I said, the third M1 fail, and the second time people pick into failed M1. Because in the first
Well,
M1 fail, 2.5 was picking into M1. So I don't know what
that
people
one
are doing.
I've outed Spy.
Yeah, I do agree on that, but definitely you shouldn't be picking into M1, but people are doing this.
Oh, Wrath gets picked on 2.3?
Oh, and 2.1 isn't repicked. From Croton's POV, this is... Wow, I have no idea what to say. This game is crazy.
These are some spicy M2s. And this is 2.3 is picked after 1.2.
Wow, this is just mind-blowing. So, Ingenue, what do you think is clean if you would have to call it right now?
Oh god. I mean, I think if Wrath is a spy, he shouldn't get picked on 2.3. So I would say like Wrath is probably res, and I said I didn't like Killer. So I would have Killer spy, Wrath res. I guess
Zigzag?
Zach res.
Zigzag, perhaps.
Well, I don't like Killer though. I didn't like his chat.
But, oh, so, on logic, on logic, Killer is always more res than Wrath after 2.1. 2.2, excuse me.
Mm. Well, yeah, yes. On logic, yes. Oh, I
And
want to
he
see.
gets picked. Zach is not picking on... wow. Well, this game is really making my head spin. I feel so lost. And I
I
only
think
can imagine what
this
those people are. Yep. The silence before a mission passes. Let's see the
Karuna wants
bottom.
to know.
Let's see the bottom be picked. Because
Andrew's also
definitely...
out spy when he's a spy.
But Ingenue, I am so sure that if this passes and blues, Killer is just adding, and people have to approve after 2.2.
Maybe.
So,
But it's also possible that Crouton doesn't want Wrath to be the confirmed res on an M2 fail without Wrath. If he likes Killer. Yeah, Ender's rejected, yeah. I mean, Anders is res and Killer, but...
Under, you fucking troll. What is this shot?
I mean, why isn't Lumi talking to Anders?
Oh, so Anders is not... Because Anders didn't approve. And DOS is saying, I'm okay with Killer hammering.
Maybe Killer is the res.
But I agree that Anders is looking spyish for rejecting that 2.4, or just PR, or I don't know, following on some heavy read, or hinting that Killer is res, like, strange thing. Could be also anti-Killer and Anders, the
Yeah, that's
cheapest
very
situation.
viable.
But
Well,
then,
Anders claims he knows clean.
but why isn't Killer picking bottom and failing on it? I don't think he would be shaded. Well, perhaps Crouton can spy him, because definitely Killer and Crouton will spy each other and bottom fail. Wrath is looking for
Killer
us.
Anders has really good M1s except for 1.1. But Wrath is VT'd by 2.3 anyways, so...
Wrath should definitely be res.
Oh, that sounds pretty res from Killer. Maybe I make a U-turn. Anders is confirmed res? No, he's not.
Well, the bottom is about to be picked.
Indeed.
But why isn't he just picking it? It sounds like he's justifying. He calls it like justifying his pick that I feel actually fails. It could be Zigzag, anti-Crouton, and Lumi.
I feel like though Illumi is actually talking, which means that he's res. Like this is such a spy pick from Killer.
Yep. I do fully agree. Like, why are you...
I hope it's not
know.
just Crouton Merlin. That would be very sad. Zach! The solo app has to be Rez being like, oh, I'm VT, okay?
So Zach, you just stole our heart. We do think you're
Man, I
Raz.
really wanted to draft Zach, but Maxie got to him first.
And now Illumi is gonna do what? He should be picking right hand side and himself on logic.
I mean, why is Illumi killing that team?
But yeah, M2 should be looking good to him. Oh, he doesn't like Raf. He doesn't like Raf because of 2.2, but he's still picking him instead of Square. Oh. Okay, Zach is Raz. Holy, okay, I was like 90% sure, but now I'm like 900% sure.
He apps that?
Well, he's a spy, seems like. Well, he's a spy, seems like. Why wasn't bottom fucking picked? Killer, come on, man. He's like Percival seeing this and like,
Well,
no, it
bottom
couldn't
would
be
be
that
so good
easy.
because there's so many Merlins on bottom.
Well, just not Killer with 1.4 and not Zach, really.
Yeah, well, you can argue that 1.3 is because 1.5 is Hammer.
After two good M1s, not off picking like Illuminan. Okay,
I think a lot of Merlins like doing that because it's an Merlin, but like Percy can see why Merlin did it.
I would off pick Raph with Illumia's Merlin. Definitely a better pick on 1.3.
That's fair.
Or maybe Crouton and... Yeah, off picking Crouton and Illumi or Crouton and Anders.
Killer
No,
rejects
Crouton
that?
and Illumi.
Is it Killer Percy?
Yeah, killers. Or maybe this has two Merlins, like Anders and Crouton are Merlins.
Yeah, maybe.
And he doesn't, and he thinks that Raph is assassin. That's why 3. Oh, he picked rejects 3.1. Oh fuck.
Look at Wrath going. He's so good at chatting.
Okay, Illumi, let's chat. Since you said Anders is Raz, but don't like a right hand side. Well, he's not Merlin with this chat kinda. He could be. Not saying it. He's definitely not Merlin, but that is my first impression.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a Wrath Merlin game, but
He seems like he's solving. And Merlins don't solve. They pretend like they solve.
I mean, some people are very good at pretending to solve.
You're very right about that one.
But yeah, I agree that I don't think Wrath would be Merlin.
Looking like Crouton Merlin, like you said. If it's bottom, Crouton's Merlin. But then if it's bottom, then 2.3 is well, I'll say that would be a very effective on Merlin from Crouton. So bottom doesn't have any Merlin, right? Oh. Uh-huh.
Wrathers.
What about right hand side and Zach?
Oh dear.
Because this repick is like, well, it makes sense on logic, but we use our insane social reads to res Zach.
I mean, it shouldn't be right hand side Zach because Anders, I think, as VT, wouldn't vote as he did in 2.4. And if he's Merlin, he's obviously apping on Zach. So really, like that makes quite limited rules for Anders on that team.
Don't you think it's interesting how no one is adding to M2? Like 3.1, like 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, all people outside of M2, and no one of them is giving M2 a chance. Could be bottom with Killer just not adding.
Zach sounds so sad. No. What? No, Zach sheeped us.
Well,
Big sheep from Zach.
So why is everyone killing M2?
That's a good question.
And how is he repicking? So Killer's not Merlin. Raph. Okay, so my player, your player is Raph. My player is Illumi. Let's win on shot, they say. M2 definitely has Merlin. Or 3 VTs. depending if yeah, no, it is Zack assassin? No, he's Morgana. Yeah, M2 has Merlin.
Well, they're not shooting killer, that's for sure.
So M2 has Crouton and Raph has Merlin. And Crouton did 2.3. Oh, G and Crouton go next.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I mean, 2.2 being Merlin is very unlikely, and Raph being Percival makes a lot of sense. Because look at 1.2. He knows his bottom. He knows, you know, like knows. Because 1.2 is wrong.
Mm.
So I think we are looking at Raph to Crouton. And oh, maybe it's Anders Merlin. Anders Merlin makes some sense.
Okay, well, if we. Well, what does killer 3.1 reject?
I don't know what's clean. I don't think it's bottom because of 2.4, 2.3 probably. 2.3 is very strange. So I can see him disliking bottom. And Crouton is 100% with PR, picking 2.3, picking Raph on 2.3 when he just picked Killer instead of repicking 2.1. So strange.
Sorry, I'm just looking at M3's.
Anders Merlin is something that makes me think.
I think it's really hard for any non-Merlin role to pick Anders over Zack in this game. I think on social read, Zack sounded a lot better than Anders. So if Crouton is Percy, like I don't know why he would take off Zack to pick Anders.
Yeah, you are very correct on this one, but I want to add one thing, that both Killer and Anders are more players that focus on logic instead of social reading. That's
true, but I
100%
think
true.
like even on logic, right? Like Zack is 2.4. At 2.3, like why should Crouton add Anders when he did 1.2?
I mean, why should Crouton? Oh, can you say that again?
At 2.3, why is Crouton doing adding Anders there when Crouton also picked 1.2 and off picked Anders and Wrath?
I don't think the Anders is question. I think Raph is the question. Why is he picking Raph? Because Anders, I think he should be picking Anders. He should be repicking 2.1. Like, I don't like Raph for picking into M1, you know, and removing Zack after 2.1. And
Yeah,
this becomes a very valid question then. And it just means that Croton is conf PR.
Yeah, I think I agree. Well, okay, I don't think Anders is Merlin because I think if Anders is Merlin, Zack doesn't get removed. Because there's no like, I think on social Zack sounded better, and also just from mission logic, like I don't think there's really unless you like hard spied Illumi over Killer, which I don't think was possible either. I just don't think there's a reason why Anders should be Merlin over Zack.
So this assassination, Anjani, I'll be honest, this 100% has Merlin on him too. 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are looking at Raph or Crouton, and Raph has bat 1.1. Does he do that? Perhaps yes, perhaps not. But then he also did 2.2. Just like the reinforces 1.1. No one, I don't buy that his Percival will actually figure out that Killer is a spy. Square
I
isn't
will
picked.
say also metagame wise, when we were practicing before Tourney, Wrath once talked to someone like their res and they got res, and we like did a team like made a big point of saying like Wrath, if you talk to someone like their res, they're going to get res. So I can definitely see Wrath being really smart and talking to Illumi on purpose to like try to sound like he's trying to social read Illumi. And that's definitely in Wrath's range, and that is my hope here.
But then 3.1.
Yeah,
It's impossible. It's impossible that Raph is Merlin after 3.1.
I think it's possible that someone sees, like Killer sees Wrath added on 2.3 and decides that there should not be a team where Wrath is spy and Crouton is res. Because 2.3 is just so strong.
I fully agree. And well, this is just a Crouton Merlin game. Spies are taking time. I don't know why. He's just Merlin, like
I mean, if
100%.
Crouton is Merlin, does he have to do 2.3?
Well, Ralph just confessed the spy. Oh, wait a second, Killer's
No,
res.
Killer's
What,
res.
what the okay, I am
2.2 is
completely wrong. Never mind. Yes, definitely. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, Crouton isn't Merlin. It's Ralph. Okay, fuck. I was 100% sure that Killer is a spy for some reason, so my whole assassination is...
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of things make more sense. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm wondering if Crouton is Merlin on
no.
2.3, he sees Wrath like Killer, and then if Zac is on M2 fail, then you also get one conf res, then you basically have team and crit. So I don't know if Crouton Merlin feels the need to do
No, no, I don't think it's Crouton Merlin no more.
2.3.
Because he does 1.2, and it seems unnecessary. He can off-pick Wrath with Zac for free, pretty much,
Yeah.
after 1.1. He can even off-pick Wrath with Illumi if he wants to, after 1.1. But it's like a stronger pick, so might not opt to that.
I wonder if it's just Anders to Wrath.
And it's Wrath, 3.1 is rejected. But why is Anders rejecting 3.1? As Percival.
Because I guess Crouton added Wrath. I'm not
Because Zac did 1.3, I think. Maybe.
sure. Yeah, that too.
But he doesn't pick Square, so Square was a big point, and we see anti-Crouton Killer, Anders rejects, because two Merlins. Well, yeah, I do think we are looking at Anders to Wrath. Oh dear, the first like 10 minutes of assassination that I had is pretty pretty disappointing. So I'm sorry, guys. Sorry to everyone who listened and was like, what is he talking about? Yep, I thought Killer was a spy. And the spies are AFK. They said let's regroup at 30. It's in
Honestly,
3
good for them.
minutes.
Take your time.
Well, if they shoot anyone besides Raf, could be Anders. No, 2.1, but maybe. Scared of picking right hand side. I do think we are just looking at Raf Merlin. How quick would you shoot?
I mean, I'm still unsure. I don't know. I think in Tourney it's worth it to take a long time.
So who do you think could be Merlin if we assume that Raf is just, well, Percival
I
MVP?
think the things I would bet on with confidence is I wouldn't shoot Killer and I wouldn't shoot Anders, I don't think.
So we are looking at Crouton or Raf.
Yes.
Who do you think could be Percival to Crouton?
Well, I guess we should spend a bit more time on Anders, but I just think if Anders is Merlin, right? Like, why has Zac taken off on M3? Because 2.4 is kind of forced almost. So I don't think there's a reason for Anders to be preferred. Or actually, though, let's look at M3 because in M3, actually, thinking back, Illumi rezzed Anders. That might be why Anders is on M3.
Well, you said one thing correct. I think 3.1. It's if Raf is Merlin, just like 3.1 is so strange. It's approved only by Zac, it's rejected by Killer. The 3.1 seems very strange to me. And then no one is approving anti-Crouton Killer. Anders to Raf.
It could be Killer to Anders.
Yeah, I was considering that one, but why is he not adding to bottom then? Because no point of... Oh, it would make sense. So if it's a Killer to Anders, he sees 1.1, that's correct. 1.2 would also be correct on bottom. And Zac is picking Illumi. So Killer would be like, why are you doing a bottom one if it's bottom? But even though I think he would still give a very good consideration to bottom. Like, why is he not picking bottom is the biggest question. Because of croutons? That was my initial thinking. Like, crouton
Well,
picked
Illumi res
2.3.
Anders.
And this is even a... This just gives you a very, very good reason to pick bottom. You know, Illumi is killing M2, trying to rest his co-spy. And, well, the one and only reason I think Killer might kill bottom is because of 2.3, which says that Anders would be the only ad.
Mm-hmm.
Because Crouton with 2.3 would be saying M1s are wrong, and 1.1 was on picking Killer.
I'm starting to think it's not Crouton and it's in Anders and Wrath because I think Crouton is Merlin. If you're Crouton and you're Merlin and you're picking 2.3 and you see 2.2 and you see that Zach is Hammer, so he's going to be on M2, so you're going to get a conf-res anyways.
Oh, but also, Ingenue, I think we forgot about 2.4 reject from Anders.
That's true, yeah.
He was okay with moving to Killer.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I'm starting to think Anders is like really PR.
So they are
Because
bad.
especially from Anders' point of view, how can he reject 3.1?
You know, a Killer to... If I was wondering how is bottom killed, and so Killer as Percival to Anders has a very valid reason to kill bottom. Maybe. Like this 1.3 only. And then Illumi doesn't pick into it because he's a spy, so we don't care. And then Anders is Merlin, that's why he's killing bottom.
Which makes Crouton VT though. I don't know, this is an interesting game.
It's definitely becoming more and more interesting the more we think.
Okay, I think I'm on the Wrath VT train because also if you look at his chat at 19 minutes, he says, Illumi, if it's right hand side you, I don't know why you talk. I'll see you in crit though, and he says that as he picks. So I don't know. Oh man, he could also be point acting.
Yeah, I think this is very
I
think this is very fake chat. That's why I initially said that he's not sounding Merlin, but then like, oh, okay, Illumi, let's chat since you said Anders is res but don't like right hand side, and then he cuts the message. He stops talking. This is very Merlin indicative. Like he tries to say something, but then like stops talking.
Yeah. But how does Anders res Wrath? Because he's picked by Crouton?
Well, he's killing M2. Oh, well, how is he picked? Well, Zach just didn't repick 2.1. And I think if Zach is Merlin and I'm Anders Percival to Raf, I see 2.4, and then I see 3.1 approved. Well, then, yeah, I would always reject because you see, I think if I would be Anders to Zach and Raf, I would expect, if it's anti-Illumi and Raf, Zach to repick 2.1. That's why Anders is rejecting.
Oh, spies are back. Huge.
So we are here looking at Anders to Raf, Killer to Raf. It's possible. Crouton to Raf. Probably not. I don't think so. Crouton to Raf is probably repicking 2.1.
I think so as well.
Doesn't have to do that necessarily. He might even have a read that, oh, he's picking into M2, M1 fail. He wouldn't do that as a spy or something like that. He could be Raz just picking wrongly into M1. So I will pick him and see what will happen on the next hammer pick.
Man, though, you know what's going into my player notes is that Zach on Crack can turn on his chat really well if he really wants to espy. That's my takeaway from this game so far.
Anders to Raf, Anders to Killer. Killer?
No,
Oh, I mean, Killer did kill. Killer actually could be Percival to Zack and Raf doing 1.4 and fuck it. Yeah, why is Killer not Merlin? Oh, because he rejected
because
clean. Okay.
Like,
Yep.
I don't think Merlin ever rejects that.
Yep. So, Crouton to Raf. That would be strange. But possible. Strange, but possible. But then Crouton not... I think that 3.2 is a very bad Merlin hunting pick.
Why was 3.3 repicked by Wrath?
Because he was talking to Illumi like, oh, some bullshit chat to Illumi, which I really think was very, very fake. Trying to find excuse to repick.
Killer did say you should repick, and he just didn't want to app on Illumi Hammer.
Killer, add yourself to M2. Oh, you see, there was this chat after M2 floated, is that Anders says, I know clean and I want apps on 3.3. Wait a second, I missed that chat. So M2 flows. Anders says, I know clean and I want apps on 3.3, and he picks clean. Is he trying to save Raph? Because right now, this definitely, I mean, this chat is definitely PR. And he's not Percival to Crouton, because Crouton just like picks right hand side after doing like 1.2. How does he know it's not like right hand side Illumi? How is he so sure?
We have to just PR Anders, and it's Anders or like Anders to Wrath.
I think it's Anders to Wrath, trying to save Wrath after doing 2.2.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps Anders Merlin trying to frame 2.2.
If Wrath is... How does Wrath pick 2.2?
Social reads, maybe? Or Merlin reads? I would just shoot Wrath and fuck it.
Well, who's the stat shot in Anders and Wrath?
After 2.2 and correct 1.1. And Crouton kinda overriding him. Anders rejecting 3.1. I think as Percival he could be maybe upping 3.1, but he instantly knows that MQ floated. Okay. Oh, maybe he morgs. So Anders to Raph is instantly morging Zach for 2.4. But then how does he know it's... Oh, he knows it's not right hand side and Killer. Not right hand side and Illumi because of 2.2. Which he thinks is 3 res. Something isn't right. You also have this feeling that Crouton seems PR. And
I think Crouton played a very strong game regardless.
Crouton PR lines. Percival to whom? To Anders? But no way he's picking right hand side after 2.1.
Why is I think 3.1 might just be rejected because Wrath was picked even after 2.2.
But he doesn't like bottom. I mean, so in short, no one likes him too. There's a lot of chances to frame Wrath by just approving.
Yeah, I think Wrath has a lot of Percy's.
And so perhaps it's Anders, but the more I think, the more I'm leaning on Wrath. Just like even 3.2 no approves, like everyone is Percy to Wrath right now. Every single player here.
Though if it's Crouton to Wrath or Killer to Wrath, that requires Anders to be VT, which I don't know if I buy Anders VT rejecting.
Oh no, I don't think so. Definitely not.
I think Anders is PR, so it's just people to Anders, or Anders to Wrath.
But then people to Anders, well, it could be Wrath to Anders. But then he's just picking Crouton and Zach because it could be anti-killer and Anders from his POV.
Yeah, if it's Wrath to Anders, then it could just be Wrath sticking with his M1 like he said, and just adding a VT instead, avoiding both Merlins. I think that's plausible. Crouton to Anders, is actually pretty bad. I don't like that line. But like killer to Anders, then the pick reg 3.1 makes sense.
I also don't like Raf to Enders.
For what
It
reason?
For what reason? The 2.3.
Did you say Wrath to Anders or Crouton to
Oh
Anders?
yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
I don't like Crouton to Anders because of 2.3. I think I would shoot Anders, but I'm not sure.
I don't like Raf to Anders because of 2.2 actually.
I think because he's a newer player, it's definitely possible he just wants to pick two VTs.
He can't really know. Especially like but like look, Zach especially unpicked Illumi and
Because Zach
he
on Crack's chat.
and he just saw Anders, and if you believe yourself that Zach sounded well, I also think so, and that Raf is a social reader, and he just saw his Merlin pick 2.1, that is Anders, and then he, instead of picking Zach, does 2.2, has Percival to Anders, and sure, I can give him the win. It's just very unlikely.
That's fair.
So it could be perhaps killer to Raf, pick rejecting 3.1 because he already have Zach marked. But then he would all, if it's killer to Raf, no, wait, killer to Anders. I'm thinking about killer to Anders. Is it not Raf to Anders? I don't think so. Curtain to Anders. I also just like killer to Anders. Might make sense actually. With him off picking one Merlin, one VT, one VT.
Well, I would GM Anders, I think. But either way, there's one VT, at least one VT, who played really well. Because right hand side has one VT at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means someone played like very, very well.
Crouton to Raf. No, I think it's Anders to Raf. Exactly. And
Well,
killer is
it's good
killing
for us to do
bottom.
different ones, so at least one of us is right.
That's fully correct. Okay, so you think it's who to Raf?
No, I think it's
Anders,
different.
yeah. Who do you think is Percival to him?
I don't know, one in Killer or Wrath, it could be either.
So let's say killer to Anders. Doesn't like bottom because of 1.3. Makes sense. And he's pick rejecting two Merlins. But he's rejecting 3.3. So Anders would be his Merlin, and he would say on chat, I know clean and I want abs on 3.3. And he's Percival to Anders, rejecting that.
Well, he said it's only because he didn't want Hammer on Illumi. He then asked for a repick. But yeah, that's.
But if he's Percival and he would know that Zack is Merlin. So strange. I like this team, but I can't take chances on wrong with Illumi getting hammer. Do you think this is a... Something just doesn't sit right with me in this situation, because if you're killer to Anders, like you are scared about Anders dying. So yeah, sure, it could be he could dislike bottom because of 1.3, but this disliking bottom because of 1.3 is like, it's obvious from our POV now that we know clean, but if you would be Percival, there's like this chance that he just picked bottom 1 because Spy had hammer. It's not very likely, but you still think about it. Like, and he picked exactly 2.4. He didn't pick Anders, while picking Anders was logical, he picked Crouton and Raf. Like, this could be his team. And he just kills bottom. So what do you
I
think?
just want Wrath to win.
Yeah, so I don't know if you still like killer to Anders. Could be possible, I guess. But the other combo is Raf to Anders. What do you think about this one?
Oh, this is definitely a difficult shot.
Is it really?
I think so.
Well, it could be difficult if you think that Raph isn't Merlin. And you don't, so it does make sense. If you
Yeah,
don't.
maybe it's just difficult because I'm ignoring the obvious Merlin. Well, okay, so if Wrath is Merlin,
Mm-hmm.
then who's his Percy?
Anders. Definitely Anders. He marks Zach for picking 2.4, and he instantly wants to save Raph because he sees 1.1, so he knows that Illumi is a spy. And if he knows that Illumi is a spy, then it's always right hand side and killer. Always. I think that combo is incredibly strong and explains the game perfectly.
Well, does Wrath live? Oh dear.
So, do you think it's Raph to Anders? Because you said that you GM'd Anders, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm really bad at these 50-50s. To me, it's 50-50. But now that you put it that way, the line does seem really strong.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of potential Percival play if it's Anders. Like bottom could be viable. 2.1 is a little bit strange. And yeah, it would be the best if it's actually Crouton Merlin. And like Raph was literally talking with Illumi, and it's Anders to Crouton. And then he saw 2.3, so he knew the solve. This would be like the best. Anders to Crouton would be like the best combo for win ratio for rest.
Rose.
Yeah, I mean, he can't talk. This is very BM from him. He's interrupting the assassination for no reason. You know, I think this chat is very illegal. So
Well,
Raph is dying.
I could ask him.
Raph is dying, and
Okay. Here we go.
all right. So let's see.
I'll stick with Anders. I'll stick with Anders.
All right, let's do this. The Anders. I hope it's Raph for my win ratio because my team is spies, and I'm really happy they're taking this shot. Like if it's Anders, and oh, you would win this crazy game. With huge respect.
I think Rez played well regardless, even if Wrath is Merlin. I think given his level of experience, he played well.
So they just said that they are shooting, and this is like the fast, the slowest insta. They have 2 minutes left. So
we're about to disconnect and not shoot within 2 minutes, and we get a forfeit.
It's Cruton Tequila. Holy shit, Cruton Tequila. And
Darn.
yep. Anders to Raph.
My copium was too strong.
Oh dear. All right, so this was a game that Spice won again. What a surprise! Thank you for featuring. It was awesome, and thank you guys for watching.
All right, bye bye.